Hello, comrades! It's exciting times in Foundation because the winter update just came out, which means that today we're going to be looking at all the new features of the winter update. So we're not going to be doing like a building episode or just a let's play episode, but this is going to be more just looking at all the new stuff that has happened. So the winter update gave us a ton of new stuff. I think the first and most obvious one to mention is that we now see these little previews of every building that you want to build. It's really great because it tells you for every building, instead of just having the name of the feature, it actually shows you a picture of it, which makes it really easy to kind of plan what you're going to build. And there's also been some other changes to existing buildings. I think the one that hasn't really been mentioned in the changelog, but that I really like for some reason, is the fact that they've added new decorative bush visuals. It's just a bit more defined of the same decorative bush that we've had before, but what I like about it is that the old decorative bushes, so if you've played previous versions, this save is from a game before the winter update, then you just see the old ones and the new ones, and you can compare them. I don't know, I just find it really funny, and I like them. I like the new ones. I like the old ones too because they're very cute and cartoonish. But yeah, so some stuff has had minor visual updates. The most, I think, striking visual update is the one that's happened to the Lord Manor. So the Lord Manor has a ton of new stuff. It has this core, it has wall fountains, it has all sorts of decorations, and the stone set I think is pretty much unchanged, but the mandatory, the old set, the original set is completely new, and so are all these decorations. And I think I'm gonna build one new manor, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. The Lord Manors also received some functional upgrades, which include the addition of a study room. This is an assignment that can be assigned to any extension, core, or even the tower, and you can only have one per town. And in the study room, you can employ a scholar. And the scholar's job is that they study blueprints, which are rewards for completing really difficult military campaigns, and we'll talk more about those in a little bit. The other addition to the Lord Manor is the updated Great Hall function, which already existed before, but in older versions of the game, its only purpose was basically telling the envoy where to go, and it also adds some extra splendor. Now, the Great Hall serves a crucial role in villager promotion. Once you've designated a Great Hall, you're going to start regularly getting a pop-up that allows you to promote your villagers. So this is now a manual feature as opposed to before when it was out of your direct control. The pop-up lists all your villagers that are viable for promotion, and you can spend gold in order to lift them up in society. So from newcomer to serf, serf to commoner, and commoner to citizen. However, the higher the level of promotion, the more expensive it is, and with every upgrade, your citizens will get new needs. The extra needs of the upper classes can be a great source of income since they'll be buying more stuff from the market, but overzealous promotion can also be a source of unhappiness if you weren't prepared to deal with the increased demand for food or goods, and you could quickly end up with people deciding to leave your town for greener pastures. So this dude is a citizen, so he needs housing as well as water, 2 types of food, he needs a church, he needs clothes, and he needs a luxury good. And a luxury good also includes ale, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. This woman is a commoner, and commoners need basically all that I've just said except for a luxury item. I like that it says cheese and fish here. Okay, that's cool. And then let's see. Let's try to find. Well, we could just use the finder. So this is a cool feature that's always existed. So I guess if we just go by status. So yeah, we have citizen here and we have novice here. Novice is a military ranking. Serfs need 1 type of food and a church and a home and a water, a well. But then as soon as they become commoners need clothes and 2 types of food, and then citizens need, in addition to all of that, they also need luxury good. Plus, the higher ranks now want to live in fancy houses, so if someone is a citizen, they're not going to want to live in a shed like this. They will automatically upgrade it if the desirability of the area is high enough, so we can compare this house with average desirability, and then obviously these have slightly higher because they're next to a church, and on this island with the super fancy church, it's very high desirability. So the other section of the game that's gotten the biggest overhaul is the way military works. First of all, the keeps themselves have gotten an upgrade with a ton of cool new building parts. So if you see the old wooden keep, you can kind of see this whole fence is basically just a wall. It's just a wooden wall. It's not part of the keep. The only part of the keep is this box, this top, this door, and these dummies. Now, keeps have a whole slew of really cool building parts that both serve as dormitories for your soldiers or as extensions to your treasury. You could also assign a great hall to one of them instead of the Lord Manor if you wanted to. The way that soldiers operate has also changed. So the way that the military stuff works is your soldiers will now have to train with these dummies, and you also need to make sure that they are equipped with weapons. And then every now and then there will be a new mission available, and it will have a difficulty, and you can either take it or you can decline it or you can think about it. I think if I click view mission, yeah, I could just say let me think about it. It does tell you a little bit more. It tells you, what the rewards are like. It tells you the difficulty, which you can also see here. And because this is extremely difficult, I don't think that our partly trained, half-armed army is going to be able to deal with this. So we're going to let them train a little bit longer. Okay, so we've got a new military mission available, and this one is just difficult and not extremely difficult. So maybe our army's gonna be able to handle it. We still only have 5 armed soldiers, but they're now mostly fully trained. So let's see if we can succeed in it. So as you can see, the success probability changes the more you assign. Yeah, so this success probability is high. So we're just gonna send them, and then we're gonna check in when we get the update. Okay, so if you succeed in the mission, this is something that happens, and I think it's really cool. It's kind of the coolest thing that they've done with this, I believe. You get this really cool pop-up that kind of gives you the opportunity to continue the mission and get a bigger risk, but also higher rewards. It's like, oh, the matter isn't resolved yet. Will you keep your soldiers here or will they return? So you can pull them back and you get some rewards, or you can keep them in the mission, and they'll usually get more and more difficult. So the success probability is still high. So I'm gonna let the soldiers stay, and we're gonna see if it's gonna continue being successful or not. I think this risk reward thing is something really cool that they've added to the military thing. It's kind of quite unique. I've not really seen it anywhere else. In city builders where you have to send your soldiers or other things to other towns or like to someone that's your superior. I don't think there's ever been that thing where it's like, oh, but if you do this, then you could risk something or get a bigger reward. I think that's a really cool thing. So I'm glad they added it. Oh no! No! Our soldiers were defeated! Ah! So I wonder if we still get a partial reward from when they come back. So I guess we'll see that when they return. Oh no, is that... how many of them is it? Only 3? Yeah, I don't think we get anything if it fails. So it's a really high risk thing, but the rewards do get better and better and better. So I think it's worth taking. Let's take a look at our soldiers. Okay, one of them is wounded. Maybe we'll just let that one not have a weapon and we'll give the weapon to someone who deserves it. Okay, so we got an easy mission. Let's try this thing. So we're gonna prepare our troops. We're gonna send them over. We're gonna select some people. I think we're just gonna send everyone. Since it's an easy mission, we've got an extreme probability of success, so only the unluckiest of players would not succeed in this. It's still far, so it's gonna take some time, but I've got a good feeling about this, and hopefully it's gonna work. We can watch our soldiers depart. Oh no. Oh, okay. So this one bug that I've been experiencing in the preview that I haven't experienced in the actual release yet was that soldiers would come over here and then they'd just stand here and they'd be stuck in the village center. So I'm pretty glad that this hasn't been happening. So hopefully that's not a bug that you'll encounter. So when the mission is successful, you can decide that you want to keep your soldiers with the king for a little while longer. We still have an extreme success probability, so I think we can keep being there. Okay, so this was our second success. Now it says we've got our last battle to be fought. So now we can still return our soldiers and still get the rewards, or we can decide to charge. Now the success probability is no longer extreme, it's high, which means it's more difficult, so it's going to be quite a difficult fight. But let's say we're going to risk it, and let's see if it's going to pay off. Alright, so our soldiers were successful, they were victorious, and we even got an achievement for it. Sound the trumpets. Complete a military campaign. So we did all the tiny individual missions, and then in the end you get a little achievement pop up. So that's really cool. There they are. There are all the soldiers. And we got 1200 gold with 54 bread, 15 iron, 15 tools, and 7 polished stone. Not a very big haul, but it was a very easy mission, so I guess we got what we deserve, which is a mediocre prize. But yeah, so that's how the military system works. We've also got some new achievements, just as I managed to finish the old ones. They all mostly have to do with the new military features, with either winning campaigns, promoting a soldier to knight status, which I'm guessing is the highest status for a soldier, and studying blueprints. And as far as I know, blueprints are only obtainable through military campaigns. So all of the new achievements are pretty much reserved for military stuff. Okay, so another new thing is the production of beer. So you can make a hop farm and a brewery, and these will create beer, and beer is one of the luxury resources along with wine, jewelry, and herbs, I think? Yes, herbs. So your citizen status people will demand a luxury resource or they will be unhappy. And that's why it's important that you produce at least one of these luxury resources. And one of the coolest things is that beer is consumed inside of a tavern. So in a tavern, you can actually designate something to be a service counter, and then you assign whether they'll be serving wine or beer. Then you can assign someone to work there and serve the beer. So that gives your citizens access to beer, to a luxury resource, even if you don't have jewelry or wine or herbs, which might take a little bit more effort to produce. Generally, whenever I've been making these, I think it's one wheat farm and one hop farm approximately for about 3 breweries. In my preview game, I had 2 hop farms with 6 breweries, and I still had like hundreds of hops left over, so you might actually be able to get away with more depending on how close people live. And that was enough to supply like 200 citizens with beer. I had beer left over, it was great. And speaking of living away from their workplace, one of the fanciest and probably my favorite new addition is the fact that villagers will move if they are living too far away from their workplace. So they will either try to swap with someone who lives closer, or if there is actually a new residential space, they will just straight up build a new house. So that is going to solve all of your problems with rehoming people. I had a town of about 350 people, and I actually by hand made everyone lose their jobs and then re-employed them so that like the people that lived closest to their workplaces would be hired. So I just, by hand, just click, 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 click. Now you don't have to do that. Now people will just straight up move. So that is one really, really great addition that I think is going to make everybody's lives a lot easier. So I do want to test this feature. So I'm going to have Otto the Serf, who lives all the way over here. There he is, good old Otto. I'm going to have him work over here And we're gonna see if he's gonna move. So Otto now works 264 meters from home, and we're just gonna let him work for a bit, and then we're gonna see if he actually moves his butt over here. So his current home is this place, right at the edge. It's almost the furthest you could possibly live from here, and there is vacancy here. So there's this one house that has desirability of low, and this other one. But I don't think that should stop him because he is a serf, so he's not going to be too picky. His previous house has a low desirability as well. But yeah, let's just wait for this science to happen. Maybe he needs to get to work for the first time and realize, like, hey, this was a lot of walking. Oh, Otto has moved. His new home is right here. So yeah, it just looked like he needed to go to his old house once, and that made him move to his new house. And he found the place that was the nearest with some space. So the feature works! Yay! Another thing that's really cool is that now every single profession has their own outfit. So every single person, you should just be able to see what their job is by just looking at them. Obviously right now we don't really have too many people working super cool jobs, so mostly it's like woodcutters and stuff. So they look pretty plain, but this lady seems she's a market tender. She's got a beautiful blue dress. Work, honey, yes. Let's see, let's try to assign, do we have a tax collector? Let's just do a tax, let's just assign a tax collector. And I'd like to see what, yeah, so tax collectors obviously are wearing the fancy bling, and they just look really fancy. There's also been some minor UI changes. You no longer see the Labor Kingdom and Clergy thing up top. You can now click on the Estate Manager in the top right corner, and there you see all of your bonuses. So there's also some new visuals, rebalances, and general improvements that are listed on the changelog, but this is most of the shiniest stuff. I think I've covered everything that's new, that's sort of, that I'm able to just show you, like, look at it, here it is. You can see the changelog. I'm going to link it in the description. So if you're thinking of getting into Foundation, either getting it for the first time right now, it's on sale on Steam as I record this, or if you already have it and you just want to get back into it, this is probably a really good time to do so because all the new features are pretty cool. Plus, the team takes a lot of feedback on the Discord. You can put in suggestions, you can put in a lot of stuff. They have a dedicated thing for all of that, and they're really cool, and there's a cute little community there. So I would definitely recommend getting it while it's still in early access. It's a really cool thing. I really enjoy this game. I'm also going to be starting a new city, so I'll be playing through that on this channel. Just because the winter update has come and now there's all this new stuff, and I've already played this town in the preview to over 500 villagers and to this massive town and all the massive stuff that I could build, and I can't load it in a normal game because it's locked to the preview, so I'm going to start a brand new town. So if you want to see that, if you think that would be a fun thing, stick around. You can subscribe or just, I don't know, check this channel in a week or so when I'll be starting that new thing. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video or you found it informative. I usually just make Let's Plays. I don't usually make like, this is information for you videos, but I might more in the future if people like this. I don't know, I'm doing this. But yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.